Welcome to Psychopath in Your Life. This is episode number 36. I'm your host, Dianne Emerson. I'm the author of the book Psychopaths in Our Lives, My Interviews, which is now available on Amazon and iBooks. However, you can get a paperback edition on Amazon only. So today I'd like to continue our chat, Love and Psychopaths, that begins with episode 33. I do receive a lot of emails asking for my opinion if the person is indeed dealing with a psychopath, either male or female. I get both cases of questions asked. The emails typically give details of lots of lying, affairs, and what sounds like a horrible life in general. And then they ask me, do you think this person is a psychopath? Well, it would be reckless of me to give you any input, but that's my goal here, is to help you develop this on your own, because I'm really not in a position to either confirm or deny your suspicions. I do have to say, your best way to figure out this question is to observe, evaluate their actions, and come to a conclusion on your own. In any case, a person should ask themselves is, when I start Googling the list of things you are observing, like, is this person you want in your life in any case? If you're doing search strings like liar, cheater, horrible mother, father, etc., etc. So, but a key issue I keep wanting to emphasize here is that when a victim is struggling for answers, the likelihood of them having a severe case of PTSD is very likely. I'd say probably in almost 100% of the cases. So, what does that do? Well, it can cloud decisions about who and what you are dealing with. By the time you get to the questioning part, you've probably been put through a whirlwind spinner. So, I would have to say there must be a reason in your own mind how you got to the is this person a psychopath question. Was it a small voice that is pointing you in this direction? I have to assume you've ruled out garden variety jerks. Understanding the how and why a relationship with a psychopath is formed can also help you in the future avoid the next one in your path. A little bit wiser, ended a little bit quicker. Today we'll talk about the emotional vacancy with psychopaths and how they feel about relationships. Psychopaths plan out how to get you to think they love you in a very methodical way. They tend to be persuasive, charming, egocentric, impulsive, and risk-seeking. They lack empathy, they lie, they do not accept responsibility for their behavior, nor do they show guilt or remorse to people they hurt. Their lack of conscience is a distinguishing characteristic. And the other thing I'd point out in my observations to look for when you're looking for behaviors is look for their feelings of how they see themselves as a victim. They're always the biggest victim in the room. The world's always done them wrong. The victim role is what they pull out to have an excuse for everything. But the sticky issue is that they look like the rest of us, but it is how they behave that will give you the best clues. Currently, a psychopath has to be taken into the prison system, which is unlikely for the ones we're chatting about here to get an evaluation. So in order for both parties to survive a relationship, there must be honesty on the part of both parties. So let's look at how a psychopath feels about the honesty part. And here's what a psychopath says. I am actually quite a fan of honesty, preferably in others, but my own can also help keep things simple and therefore easier to control. There are, in addition, what I suppose I would label passive routines of behavior, trust winning, sincerity, and so on. Sometimes they border on real, like a very, very weak radio signal. Nothing that can't be ignored, but sometimes there. Like method acting, I suppose. Imagine a situation where I could exhibit all the traits of sincerity and be like that. It's a place, a window to look out of when you want a particular view. I suppose remorse is similar in that sometimes, after actions, I could intellectually appreciate that I should not have done what I did. I don't really feel sorry for it, in the same way as I don't feel sorry when I make a bad move in chess. I may be angry at having been distracted into making a mistake, but not sad. When somebody can compare their emotions to feeling bad and compare it to chess, that should give you a pretty good idea of the base level of their absolute lack of any kind of ability. Or they can't express to you their desire to change and how they will start to develop ability, but that comes with time and trial. But deep in the heart, they don't have that. So now that we've covered the lack of emotions on the psychopath's part, next week I'll chat about some specific ideas they have. Leaving a victim can be less messy in their own words. They want to leave you first. So anyways, we'll talk about that more next week. So I really hope if you like this podcast, you will subscribe. And in advance, thanks for any sharing you've done on social media for me. You can find this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Facebook, YouTube, and the website. If you go to the website, psychopathinyourlife.com, which is the same name as the show, there's also an audio box there that you can also listen to the podcast directly. And while you're there, if you'd like to contact me, I've set up a box for your privacy so you can send a message to me without having to use your email address. Or you can direct email me, and the address is Dianne, Dianne, at Dianne, DianneEmerson.com. So there's links below for information that might help support you. And until next week, when we're ready to ask the question, the answers will appear. Goodbye for now. Talk to you soon.